our states magically transform as soon as we allow them to be. Did you ever experience that? I had a very visual experience of that with my drawing. You can see the result behind me. I had started this drawing, making my state visible as a child and as a growing up person, how I felt. And I felt an overwhelming presence and lack of my mother, and it was very present and it was dominating in my life, and I drew that very big dark hole representing my feeling of that expression of lack and also dominance at the same time, and myself being that very small, tender, tiny flower at the edge of that hole, basically, and in danger. And it was kind of a compulsion to make that visible now, although it came seemingly out of nowhere, because there was no outside trigger for that. It was the need to make that visible, or it was maybe me having come to that state of development where I was able to look at that, to make it visible, and also to deal with seeing it. So I drew it. It felt uncomfortable. It felt right. It felt uncomfortable. And I had this urge to put it away fast. Don't look at it anymore. But I made myself aware of that it wanted to be seen. Although usually I want to focus on where I want to go, and that's not this dark presence of absence, and I don't want to focus on that, but I needed to make that visible. And then I made myself put that drawing on my wall and look at it for a few days, a week, and let it be. Acknowledge that state, let it be. That's what we usually don't do with our uncomfortable states. We want to make them go away first. We don't even look at them. We don't take them out of the box of the unseen. We have them somewhere in the basement of ourselves, and we put it in a box and we lock it with nails and we don't look at it. But once we have this courage to open the box, look at the uncomfortable states, make them visible by whatever, writing them down, thinking about them, drawing them. Also by drawing Neurographica, we do the same thing. We're finding shapes for our states, also for the uncomfortable states. And the first step of transforming is let that be. Yeah, and now the magic, what happened to me with me making that uncomfortable state of my childhood and youth like visible to myself, I felt this urge to, after a week, to draw a second reality, because I suddenly started seeing that around me at all that time had been something else as well, like had been protection, had been knowledge, had been like all like guidance available, and I have been guided and I have been protected during all that time. And it was very like close, and that's why I drew this pink circle around me and made that visible. It was there all the time, like although I had only seen and felt that dark hole close to me and that danger, and it was me focusing on that big dark hole, which has nothing to do with my thought, but it was like the human me being that small and being that like disconnected from everything else around because of that dominance of that black, big, dangerous hole very close to me. I couldn't see everything else, but it was there. So you can see that here in that dark circle around me, like I was focusing on the darkness. And that's what we do if we experience and continue experiencing darkness. We focus on that. But protection and love and connection is always there as well. It's the reality around us, and it depends on what we focus on. It depends on what we choose to focus on. And since I chose to focus on that, I filled the inner circle as well. And what happened then was the flower grew. Not surprising. So now when I look at that, I feel that the whole shape is like basically my own expansion, making myself grow, and the whole like background changed like into like it used like to feel like very dry and deserty and deserted like environment, but then it felt like the same like environment felt like nourishing soul. That was the second reality, which I hadn't perceived for a long time, although it was always there. And now it's another learning what I want to share is, yes, it was there, but if I didn't experience it, it was part of my path to do just what I did, like to focus on that absence and pain and on that darkness for such a long time, to get all the experience out of that which I needed. And then when I was able to see and to connect to this reality of guidance and protectance and connection and to universal like love and wisdom, then I could start walking into that direction. That's the next step, like walking into the direction of what we want to experience in our life, like changing the focus. It won't immediately be, for most people, it won't immediately be like, bam, now I have like this wish to be and look and focus on the light. But it needs some action, continuously action and focus. Like whenever we start focusing back on the black hole in our life, we need to make ourselves aware of where do we want to walk to. And at some point that will feel natural. And we don't have to always make ourselves aware of that again, but it will come natural. To feel connected, to feel guided, and to perceive it in the outside world as well. Because we perceive in the outside world what we ourselves perceive in ourselves. If I feel small, if I feel unable, incapable, and unworth, I have that reflected from my outside world wherever I go, because I see only that. But if I start like seeing my own magnitude and my own light and my own radiance, my own power, what happens is I see that in the outside world because that resonates with me. Yeah, that's the magic of your focus. You experience in your life what you direct your attention to. So I wish you all to be able to direct your intention to whatever you want to experience in your life. It's you directing the attention, nobody else. It's never the outside world. And you have the key to do whatever you want and experience whatever you want in your life. So have a good life. Nice.